major chord his love, and she got it right. What she played it on came from the light.
Welcome to Grandma's Journals. This channel began with a collection of handwritten journals, pages filled with everyday moments, quiet faith, family stories, and a kind of wisdom that only comes from a life well lived. These journals belong to my Grandma Peggy. Inside them are her thoughts, her prayers, her joys, and her struggles. Moments that may have felt ordinary at the time, but now feel priceless. My hope is that as you listen, you'll feel connected to her story and maybe even your own. Thanks for being here. This is Grandma's Journal.
The beauty of the song is joy in her eyes. The major chord is love, and she got it right.
Hello. I am back with an episode in the actual journals. So give me a round of applause. It's only been forever. But I'm very excited to get back into them. I really just haven't been in them since Grandma passed away, and it is time to get back in them because we are in 1994, and that is the last year that I have transcribed. So I have a lot of work ahead of me to stay on top of this. So with that being said, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Grandma's Journals. I'm very excited to be here today. I'm very excited to jump into 1994. It has been a long time since I transcribed 1994, so I honestly don't even remember what's in here. I do know we're getting to some of the hard years. I have said this in previous podcasts. I do know that we're getting to some of the hard years for a few of our families. But hopefully listening to these and maybe seeing things from a different perspective maybe will help if there's any healing that still needs to be done from these situations or whatever it may be. So anyways, but we're going to jump into 1994. I don't know that I'm going to do the whole year in this podcast, mostly just because my family is ready for dinner. But I wanted to at least get part of it recorded. And so this might be broken up. We'll see. We'll see how far we get before my sweet hubby gets home from church. So with that, let's jump into 1994. All right. January 1st, 1994. A whole year gone, and I am 59 years old. I started writing in this book when I was 43. 16 years and a lot of experiences have happened. After all the Christmas and New Year coming, today was quiet and simple. Alec and I got up, ate breakfast, took our daily walk for 30 minutes, packed Alec's lunch, fixed his lunch here at home, and sent him off to work. Jeanette and Brooke-Ann came by to wish us a Happy New Year. They left, and I hemmed some nightgowns for Molly Fasthorse, a little old Indian lady out on the reservation. She is a real sweetheart. She will be 90 years old. I fed the cat and dog and then came in and fixed my dinner. Then I prepared my primary lesson for Sunday. I have a new class and I am excited about teaching them. I had a rowdy class last year, but I learned to love every one of them. A child is so special in this life. We can learn so much from them. I'm always anxious to teach them, but I learn so much more from them than I teach them. I guess I will kick back and watch the old TV. January 2nd, 1994. A new schedule in church. We now go at 11:30, primary first and then sacrament meeting. We slept in till 8:30. Alec went back to work yesterday, so we went to bed late. Alec went out to walk for 30 minutes and I decided not to go and instead get his lunch fixed for work and get myself ready for church. I met my new class today: Lee Pugh, Matthew Almeida, Brenner Freeman, Camille Beatty, Shauna Glade, and Mark Chamberlain. They are a real sweet class, and I know it will be a lot of fun. We had our fast and testimony meeting today, and before I left for church, Alec gave me a quarter. A long time ago, as our children bore their testimony, Alec and his dad always gave them a quarter. They were never told they were going to get a quarter. They just gave them one. Even as our kids were grown and came to our ward to visit and bore their testimony, they still got their quarter. We even have grandkids calling or writing and telling us that they have bore their testimony. So I know he wanted me to bear my testimony, but I didn't. So now I will have to give the quarter back. I love that she shared that because I think we all have the memory of, at least I know me and my sisters definitely do, of getting a quarter from Grandpa when we would bear our testimony. And she is right, because like we lived far away, and so we didn't we didn't go to church with them or stuff like that. And so we would call or we would write and be like, we bore our testimony today, in hopes of getting that quarter from Grandpa. So I love that. And my dad has continued to do that. We get 50-cent pieces, but anyways, so I love that. So actually, when we moved to Georgia, my dad gave my husband a roll of 50-cent pieces to give the kids when they bear their testimony. Now, I don't know that my husband has been very good about doing it, but he has it. So if any of the children here in Georgia bear their testimonies, let Brandon know. Okay, I was proud of my primary children as they got up and bore their testimonies. I do have a testimony of the gospel, but it's so hard to get up and bear it. I got out of church at 2:30 and came home. It's nice to get home, but it's always empty to come home and Alec not be here. I watched 60 Minutes and the news, then got something to eat and painted on some of my watercolors. I was kind of tired today, so I just rested the rest of the day. The dog and I took a walk down the canal and locked the gate. Our dog has a name. It's Stanley. She is a female. Our grandson, Cameron, named her. January 3rd, 1994. Alec and I started our day with our 30-minute walk. Our morning went pretty fast. We've been sleeping in until 8:30, but by the time we walk, eat breakfast... sorry, the missionaries. The missionaries are texting me. And now I lost my spot. Sorry. Okay, here we are. By the time we walk, eat breakfast, do the dishes, make Alec's lunch, and send him to work, the morning has gone so fast. I am going to get organized this year. I started today in my closet and cleaning up the storage room. I didn't get a whole lot done, but at least one area is clean and organized. I also sewed up a few things to make sure I could wear them. I threw out a lot of stuff I never wear. I redid a t-shirt my uncle made where it was coming up from some of the paint, so I repainted. I dressed up another shirt with Battenberg lace for a lady named Helen DeGroff. I talked to my daughter, Lori, and an old friend, Denise Burden. We talk often. We raise our kids together. Not much going on today. I kind of had the blahs. I understand those days. But then there are days like that. January 4th. I guess I still had the blah hangover today. I only walked for 20 minutes and I was exhausted and couldn't walk anymore. Went in and rested. Then made Alec's lunch and got him off to work. I got ready and went and picked up my mom and went to Lynn's Furnishing to check on some lamps that they wanted me to put shades on. Then we went to the Indian Reservation, Fort McDowell, to take some sewing back to Molly Fast Horse. She's almost 90 and lives with 2 dogs, Nana and Panda Bear. She gets a lot of money off the bingo parlor. At Christmas, she got $6,000. And now they are giving her $7,000. She says she doesn't know what she is going to do with all that money. Next year, she should get $30,000 or $40,000. The bingo gaming casino is growing so fast and so many people go there. We went to Molly's house and went into Fountain Hills and ate at a little restaurant and then went back to Mesa and picked up some material for a lampshade I had at home. We stopped by a grocery store and then I dropped Mom off and came home. I felt really sick at my stomach and went up and went to bed for 2 hours. Felt a little better after I got up, then got sick again. When Alec came home at 10:45, I was feeling better. Before he came home, a drunk guy came to the front gate yelling and saying he was lost. I let the dog out and she scared him. He backed away from the gate and I told him to follow the road in front of him and go to the trailer and the man will help him out. I called Alec and he called the sheriffs and they came out looking for him. It's the first time since we've lived here that someone has come up to the place. The dog is really protective, so I don't worry too much. That night, my stomach hurt all night long, so I didn't sleep very good. So Alec let me sleep all night after I went to sleep. I didn't get up until 9:30, so I didn't get to my art class, which starts at 8:30, but I feel a lot better today. January 6th. I can't believe how fast this year is going. How fast this new year is going. This morning was a good one. My daughter Lori has been coming on Thursdays and cleaning my house. With my vertigo, it's so hard for me to get on my hands and knees to scrub anymore. So she wanted to earn extra money, so it works out nice. I had to leave to finish up a wallpaper job, and Alec had to go to work, so we left Lori mopping floors. I met Betty Beatty, and we finished doing the wallpaper job for Art Freeman, who owns the Orange Company. Then Betty's little granddaughter, Cassie, wanted to go eat pizza, so we ate pizza, and then they left, and I went to buy some trim for a lampshade. I stopped by my mom's on the way home. She had been to a specialist, and he told her that her kidneys were not as bad as they thought. They had shrunk because of high blood pressure, but no disease, and they were in good shape. He also gave her some high blood pressure medicine to help keep her pressure down. I came home and finished my lampshade. Then a migraine started, and I tried some new things, like I drank a cup of warm water with vinegar, 1 tablespoon honey, and sipped on it. Then took a rag and soaked it in vinegar, wringing it out and wrapping it around my head, and left it there for 10 to 15 minutes. Then I heated a pan of water and added vinegar and let boil, then sniffed the vapors in and out for about 30 minutes, and my headache was gone. Then I sketched my drawings on my watercolor paper so I could catch up on my class. My friend Betty told me what they were doing. By then it was 9 o'clock. I guess I will watch prime time and wait for Alec. January 8th, 1994. Alec and our grandson Justin Hargrave worked outside this morning, and I worked in the house. We are trying real hard this year to get the clutter out of our home by giving a lot of it away and taking the rest to Deseret Industries. We had lunch and then took Justin home, north side. He lives on north side of Granite Reef. When we got there, Jim and Jeanette was babysitting their grandson, Tyler James Hargrave. He is the cutest little guy. He is 9 months old and into everything. He is trying awful hard to walk. He is a really happy baby, and Clint and Cindy take real good care of him. My aunt and uncle, Carla and Lou Moore, my mother's brother, came to town from California, and Carla cooks great Mexican food. Maybe it's because she is a Mexican. Anyway, we were invited over to my mom's because she was cooking for all of us. It was really good, and it was nice to visit my brother and sister who also was there. My mom didn't have too much fun. She pulled a muscle in her arm, the same one that never healed from an auto accident. January 9th. Sunday is always a special day. It lets us have a little rest and peace from the rest of the week. I have a new Valiant A class. They are really a sweet bunch of children, very quiet and willing to learn. A little different from my other class. Today, a girl named Mindy Turley came to class. She's from a divorced family, and her brother showed her where to come. I had her brother Dallas last year. Anyway, he said, "Sister Hunt, this is Mindy. You will really like her. She's my sister." What a sweet little spirit. How good it makes you feel to come to church and take of the sweet spirit that is there. And of course, it's always nice when Alec can attend with me. Monday, January 10th, 1994. Alec had a dentist appointment at 9, so we went to the dentist. Alec is getting a new crown on his tooth, so they will put in a temporary one today. We left the dentist and went to Target to get Alec a pair of tennis shoes and some Levi's. They had the Levi's that had the elastic waist. At my age, you need the extra expansion plus the comfort. I also went to get rugs for the bathroom. We didn't get the shoes or the rugs, but I did get my Levi's. We went on over to a Western store. Oh, I hear Brandon Struck. He's here. That's right. I'll record a little bit more, I promise. We went over to a Western store, and Alec bought him a pair of boots. We came home, and Alec worked in the yard for a while, and I worked in the house. At 3 o'clock, our visiting teachers and home teachers combined, Pat and Alice Boyle, came for a visit. When they left, we ate dinner, and Alec went to do his home teaching, and I went to visit Vonda Gray while they did their teaching. Vonda's husband, Corey, is Alec's partner. We came home, and Alec helped me make up the chicken and noodles. Tuesday, January 11th. Alec and I went to the temple this morning. I was not feeling real well, but I knew if I went that I would at least get through the session. It was a real nice session, and I made it through. As we were leaving, my stomach started hurting. When we were in the car, I gave Alec a stick of gum. I thought maybe it would help. Ease my stomach. Alec took about 2 chews and his temporary tooth crown came out. So we headed back to the dentist. They took him right in and glued it back. Then we went to a secondhand place. We've been going back and forth to check on some furniture. My stomach was really getting bad by then. When we got home, it was burning so bad I couldn't hardly stand it. This continued all night. I finally wound up with diarrhea all night. By 6 in the morning, it had finally stopped and I was feeling better. Wednesday the 12th. I was supposed to go to art school today, but was too weak and still had a little burning in my stomach. Not much was accomplished that day, just getting over my bout. Managed to get the washing done and a few things around the house. Thursday the 13th. I was feeling better and finished a lampshade this morning. Alec went to an early meeting for work. Even if I am still in bed, he kneels down beside the bed and has prayers with me. It's one thing he never forgets. That afternoon, Alec went to the nursery to get a couple of apple trees. He planted one on the north side, which was a Dorset golden apple. One on the south was an Annie apple. We've never had apple trees here, but it's a little cooler up here on the dam. We are planting early, so we will see what happens. My brother, Paul John Faraday, and his wife, Mary, came up. They wanted to go look at property. They have their house up for sale. We went to several areas, and of course, they all want too much money. I worked on a lampshade of my own last night and went to bed early. I had to get up early the next morning for an appointment. Friday the 14th. Alec and I had appointments in court on our vinyl flooring that was laid wrong. Randy, the kid who laid it, met us there and was very cordial about the whole thing. The court procedure went smooth. Everyone agreed on what was said. Although Randy offered us to redo the floor, all we had to pay for was a subfloor and pay for the vinyl. Well, we felt like we already paid, so we will let the court decide. Alec and I came home to get some lunch and send him off to work. I took a lampshade in and then stopped by a place called Ribbons and Lace or Ruffler's Roost. I buy all my lace, ribbons, flowers, and a lot of craft items there. Then I went over to my friend's house, Betty, to catch up on my artwork. I've missed 2 classes. Then I hurried home because Alec was supposed to fly over the house and dam at 2:30. I kept going outside, but I never saw him. I gave up at about 3 o'clock, but he said he went over at about 3 o'clock. They had a helicopter for Salt River, and they run the river every so often. Alec said he really enjoyed it. He got a little sick to his stomach, but he said it was worth it. He's ready to go again. I didn't do a lot this evening. It was just a nice, quiet evening. Alec came home at 11, and we visited until 12 a.m., then off to bed. Saturday the 15th. We had prayers as always before we leave our bedroom. Sometimes we forget if one gets up before the other, but we always have it later. Then we ate breakfast, which usually consists of oatmeal and raisins and some juice. Then we go for a 30-minute walk. When we get back, it's time to get Alec ready for work, so I feed him and send him on his way. When he left, I went up and cleaned up my bedroom and then came outside. The weather was so gorgeous. I washed the car and then stayed out and got my primary lesson ready for tomorrow. I don't know why my writing gets so sloppy. I can write halfway decent when I want to. I really got to thinking about my 2 daughters today and how lucky I was to have 2 great little gals. I even wrote them a story about the 2 little sisters that I raised and how precious it was. The phone rang, and Jeanette called and told me her and her daughter Brooke-Ann was coming over to bring Taylor James, her grandson, Clint's baby. When they came, I got a pot of stew, which they both love, so we all had lunch together. Lori called while we were eating, so in a sorts, I had my 2 girls together, but apart. It was fun. Tyler James, sorry, did I say Taylor earlier? Sorry, if I did. No, when I said Tyler right there, I was like, did I say? Anyways, his name is Tyler. We all know that. Tyler James is a real sweetie. He wasn't feeling too good. He was cutting some teeth. When they left, I finished up my primary lesson and went in and took a bath. I guess I will work on some lamps tonight until Elk gets home. I decided to write some more. So many thoughts go through my mind. I guess as I see so many bad things in the world, I always look at the children and wonder why. And then I see these children that have no respect for their home or the furniture in it. I see kids crying, screaming, and throwing temper tantrums until they get what they want. I hear kids cussing out their parents, stealing money from their own parents, and never a thank you for nothing. The respect is gone. I remember we always had respect for our parents. It was yes, ma'am, no, sir. We never talked back. We treated our furniture like it was the last piece we owned. We never even said a cuss word, let alone say it around our parents. If we ever threw a fit, it probably would be one of our last. I think respect is so forgotten that no one even knows what respect is anymore. Kids are not kind to adults or have any idea what phone etiquette is. If you have no respect, we have a bunch of kids that really don't care about nothing. They expect expensive clothes, tennis shoes, and a car as soon as they turn 16. Most, by the time they are 16, they have had drinks, tried smoking, had sex, dated every weekend. They have lived a lifetime in a year. So what's left? They've done it all. I guess I just really feel like if we follow exactly what the church teaches and follow the prophet, we can save our little ones, but they have to be taught early and then never let up. I hate seeing our grandkids have to grow up in a world where they are scared everywhere they go. There are gangs everywhere. Kids are killing kids. Young kids carrying guns to school. People getting killed in markets, restaurants, shopping malls, parking lots. And the only thing bad we did was pop someone with a rubber band or throw a spitball. My grandkids can't go to the store or take a walk or play in a park by themselves. Their parents have to go for fear of someone shooting them or kidnapping them. We could walk a mile to the store, buy some penny candy, and walk home and take our time doing it. We could go to the park and play for 3 to 4 hours. None would pay any attention to us. Today it's scary for parents to go with their kids. I guess that's what makes me sad. But life goes on, and these kids live in a different world and have different problems to overcome than we did. And maybe it's because they are stronger in spirit and the Lord gave them harder problems than we had. Sunday, January 16th, 1994. I'm quiet in the mornings and I don't have much to say. I like for it to be quiet. It is easier to think and to listen. It takes me a while to get awake and think about the day. Alec, on the other hand, likes to jump up and turn on the radio, sing and dance or whatever. So we are really disagreeable when morning comes along. Alec took his 30-minute walk while I stayed in and curled my hair. Made his lunch and fixed him some lunch to eat before he went to work. We both left at 11 a.m. I got a new girl in my class, Elizabeth Macy, a real sweetie. We have one little guy that likes to stir up some trouble, but other than that, it's a good little class. After primary, I went out to see if any of the kids were there and thought I would sit with them. I talked to Vonda and Corey and never saw my kids, so I was thinking it was time to go home, and I walked out the back door and went home. When I got home, it was so early, I thought our clocks had stopped. Then it dawned on me that I had forgot to go to sacrament meeting. It made me so mad to think that I couldn't even remember to go when I was already there. It scares me when I do stuff like that. I'm only 59. I should not be losing all my marbles. January 17th, Monday. My nights are not the best at this time. My vertigo has gotten worse, and I'm sleeping in a lounge chair at night. I wish this crazy stuff would go away. I can still function good in the daytime. I get a little off balance when getting up and my head feels fuzzy, but I can do normal things. I get tired and take naps in the afternoon. January 18th, Tuesday. I feel good today and I got a lot done. Cleaned out my closet, threw away old clothes, made 2 lampshades, so I got a lot done. I still get tired by 2 p.m., took a nap and felt better. Our dog, Stanley, and I went for a walk. The weather is beautiful. They have had a big earthquake early Monday morning in the San Fernando Valley. Lots of damage done in many areas, 6.6 on the Richter scale. We have lots of relatives in that area. The only one that had any damage was my Uncle Lou Moore's son, Jeff, and his wife in Studio City, right out of Hollywood. Some of the studios that promote our TV shows were damaged. Jeff's home was damaged and stuff scattered everywhere. It seems as if the Lord is giving them a second warning to repent. I think our world is in for a short stay. Wednesday, January 19th. I felt good this morning. I got up and went to art school. I've missed 2 weeks. I learned a lot in school, but I seem to be getting so much repetition, but that's the way we learn. When class was over, Betty and I went to Applebee's for lunch. Then we went to Coomer's Boutique, but the potpourri was so strong we had to leave. So we went to Pace, a big merchandise and food chain, and then I came home. I was so tired I took a nap. Then got up, fed our cat and dog, ate dinner, and felt a little tired, so I just wrote in my journal and watched happenings on the TV about the earthquake. Thursday, January 20th. My mother, Mary Latimer, found out she will have to go on dialysis. She has been having a lot of trouble with her kidneys. They are shrinking, and she does not have the capacity to get rid of the fluid that carries all the toxins in her body. It is a scary thing, but I guess the alternative is not so hot. I'm going over today to read all about it. Friday the 21st was Alec's first day off, so we went to Pace Savers and stored up on our year's supply of food. We also went over to Barrow's Furniture Store. They were supposed to have a 70% off all furniture. When a dresser is $3,500 and a nightstand is $600, it makes me wonder what the price was before. I like nice furniture, but I sure don't want to pay prices like that either. I will keep looking for good used furniture until I find some nice pieces. Saturday the 22nd. We got up early and went to an old cowboy antique show. It was really interesting, especially the way some of the people were dressed that were selling their wares. Some were dressed like the Old West, some were dressed loud and wild, and others were just corny. We spent several hours there, and then we went to Casa's and had lunch. By the time we got home and put all the groceries up, it was time for us to get ready to go to a 40th wedding anniversary party for some friends of ours that we have known since 8th grade. They had a daughter that was born on the same day as our Lori on December 24th. Maridel was put in the same room as mine, so we had quite a time. Her husband is Bob McDaniels. We went to the party, and it was really nice to see them again and talk over old times. I don't think we could be the best of friends because our life is so different than theirs, but I'm sure we will keep in touch and see them from time to time. Sunday, January 23rd. It's always nice when Alec can go to church with me. We had a nice church service. Old friends Dave McCain and Kathy were speakers and both gave a nice talk. I had a real nice primary class. These kids teach me so much, and it amazes me with some of their answers they give. Alec and I just made a lazy day out of our Sunday. We always tell each other about our classes and what we learned in each one, and then we ask ourselves if we are doing the things that are asked of us. January 24th, Monday. Today is our grandson Clint Hargrave's birthday. He is 20 years old, and we are real proud of him. He is a young husband and a daddy, but he seems to be taking care of his little family very well. Alec thought he had a dentist appointment today, but when we got there, they said it was on Tuesday morning. We went and did a little shopping and went home. Alec worked in the yard, and I had some lampshades to do. Tuesday, January 25th. Alec went to the dentist, and I stayed home and got my lampshades ready for the next day. I also did some ironing and cleaned the upstairs bathroom and my bedroom. Wednesday, the 26th. Alec got me off to art school. He makes my breakfast and loads my car with all my art stuff and lampshades. We did some irises in class. Then Betty and I went to the fish market and ate fish. Then we went to the craft store, Michael's, and spent an hour and a half in there. Looking around, got home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm always tired, but enjoy the arts and craft. I'm always tired, but I enjoy the art and craft world. Thursday the 27th. Alec has been getting the garden ready, and it sure looks nice. He planted 2 apple trees and 2 peach trees. We went to Art Freeman's place and bought some nice-sized citrus trees. We will pick those up and plant them next week. We went by Mom so Alec could pick up his saw. My uncle borrowed them a year ago. We told him we weren't in no hurry for them, but I didn't mean we weren't going to use them ever again. It looks like Mom is for sure going on dialysis. I really feel sorry for her, but I guess it's necessary to save her life. I also feel that the doctors are at fault. They just keep passing her around from one doctor to another. Then they didn't have one for her for a long time. Then they finally sent her to a specialist, which they finally came up with all of this. It is really tough getting old. I am trying to take care of myself. I hope I stay in good health. I am such a chicken to go through any operation. It's not the operation, but it's being put out. I get so sick and nauseous, and I can't get over it for a long time. I just hope Mom keeps up the good spirits. She doesn't seem to be concerned, but she holds a lot in. Alec worked in the garden and set up a nice watering system. I squeezed orange juice and worked in the house. Friday the 28th. Back to work for Alec. We went for our walk and came back and fed Alec lunch, and he went to work. I set up the ironing board in the living room and will iron this afternoon. After ironing, I ate dinner and did nothing but sit down and watch the TV. Saturday the 29th. We went for a walk this morning, came back, Alec got ready for work, and I made his lunch and got ready to go to a party for Clint, our grandson, who turned 20 on the 24th. I got to Clint's about 12:15 and got out and locked my keys in my car. This is about the third time in the last 6 months. When I got in Clint's apartment, Alec was there, and I sure was glad because he had keys to my car. He didn't tell me he was coming, but he didn't know until he got to work. We left about 2 o'clock, and I gave Jeanette and granddaughter Brooke a ride home. We went by Ray Burden's citrus store and bought oranges. Then we went to Bash's on Brown and Higley, and then went to Osco Drug that had just opened. It was a real nice store. I took Jeanette and Brooke home. They had their road really tore up, and you have to go all the way on the top of the mountain to get to their house across the river. I came home and cleaned up my kitchen and mopped the floor. Then I fed the dog and the cat. Then I came in and got all my stuff ready for my lesson in primary. Then I cleaned up my living room, put everything away. I got my clothes ready for church and got my art stuff put away. I went through my mail, and we got a letter from the Register of Contractors. I guess we won a new floor. Finally, after a year. Alec will be home in 30 minutes. I can hardly wait for my hug when he comes through the door. Sunday the 30th. We got up early. Alec told me he would take me to Apache Junction to Emily's. She is the lady I do lampshades for. She lives at the foot of Superstition Mountains. It was about 16 or 17 miles from our house. It was a beautiful drive, and she had a beautiful view of the city and the mountains. I went out there to measure a window to make her some curtains. She runs the shop all week, so Sunday was the only day she could get with me. We got back home about 10, so I had plenty of time to fix Alec's lunch and get him off to work. We both left at 11 o'clock. I went to church and he went to work. I had a real nice class today. The class was very reverent, and we had a real great class. After church, I went by to see my mom. She is worried about the dialysis, and I don't blame her. I only hope her health holds out so she can still function normally. I stayed and talked to her about 1 hour. She's not too happy. I think when my brother Bill moved in, it ruined her life. She likes the idea of him being there at night in case something happens, but she does his washing and ironing, and he is a total slob and never puts anything up or away, never cleans his bathroom up, and it's more than Mom can keep up with. He never seems to take a hint, but I don't know what to do about it. I came home and fed my animals and went through some magazines and wrote in my journal. I made a commitment to write every day, or at least try to write every day. When my kids don't show up at church, I feel bad all day. I feel like they are teaching their children that it is not that important to go to church, and I can see that it is not that important to them at this time. That's how easy it is to fall away from the church. I know I can't lead their life for them, but the church is about all we have now to teach our kids what they need to be taught. So if they think it's not important to go to church, then nothing else matters at all. Monday, January 31st, 1994. I was glad to see Monday come. I'm usually ready for it after resting on Sunday. We went for our walk and got things ready for Alec to go to work. Lampshade business is slow right now, so I am making curtains for Emmeline's bedroom. She's a lady I make shades for. I went to Old American to get a mat for my watercolor picture, and I didn't find anything. I'm supposed to have it ready for next Wednesday to put in the art show. So I went by and picked up my mom, and we went to Kmart and looked for rugs for my bathroom, and I couldn't find any, so we went to the paint department and bought 3 gallons of paint to paint my bedroom. When I got home, my kidneys started hurting, so I started drinking water and cranberry juice. After 3 hours, it was still hurting, so I made some Tehabo tea and drank a cup, and I haven't had any pain for an hour and a half. I hope I don't have to call my doctor tomorrow. Tuesday, February 1st, 1994. We took our walk this morning. For some reason, it was hard today. No breath, legs had cramps, but I went ahead and finished. Alec went off to work, and I sewed on curtains all day. A friend of mine found a Dr. Alan Johnson that clears up vertigo. It's a new process that he has been doing for about 1.5 years. If it works on her, I'm going to him. She went once, but moved around too much and had to go back, but said she was feeling better. I hope it helps her. Her name is Anita Freeman, and we have known her for about 30 years. She has been in bed for about 11 years. She's had a few good days, but that's about all. I've had it for 8 years, but was only in bed on and off for 2 years. Then I had good days and bad days. My daughter Jeanette just called, and our little great-grandson is in the hospital with pneumonia. Hope all goes well. I tried to call Bill and Lori last night, but they went out with Bill's parents for Bill's 38th birthday last night. Almost time for Alec to come home, so enough for tonight. We did get a call from Randy Dungelbarger, the guy that put our floor in. We went to court to get our floor replaced, and we won, and Randy said he didn't want to do our floor. He just wants to give us back our money, and that is fine with us. We've never done this before, but the floor was really bad, and he refused to fix it. So in the long run, we won. But not really. We lost a friendship, but we did refer him to other people. He did do nice work, just didn't want to redo our floor. Wednesday I had art class. Alec helped me get all my things ready for class. He always loads my car and helps fix breakfast. He always makes sure I have a nice time. Our teacher, David, is doing flowers this year, and the ones we are doing now are irises, 3-dimensional. I don't like them because my watercolors are light and his are dark. I think I might work on my own this year, just to see if I can do it alone. I'm sure I can. After class, Betty and myself went to the Flying Crane for lunch. Then we went to a thrift shop and found some old fun coats to make some Santa clothes for some Santa Claus that we are trying to make. We always have something we're doing, but we always have fun. It's always an empty feeling to come home to an empty house, but I always have a lot to do, and the time passes quickly, and it's 11 p.m. before I know it, and Alec is home. Thursday, February 3rd. Alec left for work and I went to town. I picked up my mom to go along for the ride. I got my hair cut, then we went to the lampshade place and I took Emmeline's curtains I made for her. Picked up some lampshades and Mom and I went to Mata's to eat Mexican food. My mom had never been there, so it was different. We then went to a place called Old American. It's great for arts and crafts. I had a mat cut for my picture that I'm entering in the art show. I had a mat cut earlier, but it didn't look good. Then we went grocery shopping. I took my mom home. Her brother went to California, so she is by herself for a while. I came home and worked on lampshades and the pillow shams I'm doing for Emmeline. All right, I have her name spelled like 3 different ways every time it's on here. I need to make a note to find out how to spell her name correctly. Spelling, question mark. All right. Friday the 4th, Alec had his last day to work for the week. So I stayed home and cleaned house, worked on lampshades, and about 5 p.m. our daughter Lori Fricky came out and brought our grandson Cameron Eric Fricky to spend the night. He wanted to go to the yard sale with us on Saturday. I knew I would have to keep him busy because he is a very active 11-year-old, almost 12. So I got some boxes out that I had not unpacked, and everything was still wrapped in newspaper, and it kept him busy all evening. While I worked on lampshades and pillow shams, they took everything out and kept all the things he wanted and then wrapped everything back up. By then he was tired and he went to bed. I went with him and he talked to me and told me jokes. He is a very lovable kid and we love having him come and stay. Saturday the 5th, Cameron made sure we were up by 7 o'clock. Alec and I had gotten lazy and had been sleeping until 8 or a little after, but he was ready to go to the yard sales. We had prayer and went down and ate breakfast. We stopped at the first yard sale and Cameron found a pair of binoculars and they wanted $5. That's all he had, so he finally decided he didn't want to spend it all right at first. So as we went shopping, he wound up with a game and a picture to hang in his room, so he was glad he didn't spend all his money. This was not the best yard sale day we've had. I found a piece of fur to use on our Santa Claus and a piece of material and a nice mirror to hang in my bedroom over my dressing table, but that was about all. We were all hungry, so Grandpa told Cameron to choose where he wanted to eat, and Cameron said Taco Bell, my most unfavorite place. But he chose, so we went. And we met my sister up there. Shock, surprise, she was going to our mother's house. We told her we would clean her house today. So she ate with us, then I rode with her, and Alec and Cameron went to talk to a guy about a trailer. It was about 1 p.m., and we met my brother John over at Mom's. He was already cleaning up the sunroom. We cleaned inside and out, and we all worked for 5 hours, so it was a really needed cleaning. Mom just gets out of breath so easily, and it's too hard for her to do too much. Her brother Bill, who lives with her, does not do much of anything, so it really gets dirty with him there. I hope we can do it about once a month, even if we have to pay someone to do it. We were all tired and ready to go home, but it was worth it. I know she felt better, and the house sure looked a whole lot better. My brother took me home, and Alec and Cameron were waiting for me. We all had something cool to drink, and Cameron's mom came to get him. Our other daughter, Jeanette, came by, so they all visited for a while. When they left, Alec was figuring if we would make money to buy this trailer, and I finished my lesson from primary. Then we went to bed. Sunday is our quiet day. Sunday the 6th, 1994. Alec and I got up about 8 a.m. and decided to have a big breakfast. We don't do that too often, so we had fresh squeezed orange juice, and I made omelets with onion, celery, bell peppers, and cheese with toast and jelly. Man, I'm starving, and that all sounds delicious. On the way home, Alec said, "Is this the first Sunday of the month?" I said, "Yes," and he said, "Well, then I guess it's Fast Sunday." So we goofed. But church was real nice anyway. I finally was moved to go bear my testimony. My class was real successful. We practiced for sharing time. Alec and I went back and looked at the trailer we thought about buying. We will decide on Monday. We went by to see my mom. I know she is worried. She has lost so much weight. I just hope she does good on dialysis. I know she doesn't want to look forward to it, but I guess it has to happen. When Alec and I got home, it was 5:30, and Lori called and said they were coming over with salad and lasagna. It was real good, and they all left right after dinner, and Alec and I watched a real good movie called Regarding Henry with Harrison Ford. Saturday, February 13th. My class had sharing time, and they did real good. Maybe she meant Sunday. And they did real good, so I gave them a treat afterwards. It is Valentine's Day. Yeah, she definitely meant Sunday the 14th, not Saturday the 13th. Or maybe I just miswrote that, so I will mark that. All right, it is Valentine's Day, and so we did our whole lesson around love and peace. I came home, and Jeanette and Brooke Ann came over, and they brought us a picture of her and Lori dressed in Western wear. It was a real cute picture, our Valentine's gift. When church is at 11:30 and gets out at 2:30, the day goes so fast. So before I knew it, Alec was home. Okay. So now it's Monday, February 14th, which is actually Valentine's Day. So I guess she was just saying it was the Sunday before Valentine's Day, so they did it. Sorry, I confuse myself sometimes. Okay, Monday, February 14th, 1994, Valentine's Day. Alec always says, "Go buy you something you like, and that will make me happy." This year, I was not too clever on Valentine's Day, so I took Alec at his word. I bought 2 rose bushes and gave them to him for Valentine's Day. He bought me the cutest little Valentine bear. I still like toy animals and dolls. Alec went to work, so we did nothing special. When Alec left, I took a lampshade in and then went by Denise Burden's, my friend, and helped her with a lampshade. Bought oranges, and Denise gave me some more oranges, lemons, and tangerines. They have citrus and have a small citrus market. I went to my mom's after that and dropped off a Valentine for her and Bill. It was a picture that was taken at Clint and Cindy's wedding. It was real good of both of them. I then came home and cleaned up my sewing room and threw away a lot of junk. The rest of the evening, I watched the Olympics and took it easy. I have to go to the doctor in the morning. I've been having leg cramps, so we will see what he says. It seems like I'm having trouble walking my 3-mile every morning. I get short of breath and my heart runs wild at night. I'm still sleeping in my recliner chair. I can't lay down at all, but I'm sleeping pretty good at night without waking up. Tuesday the 15th. Big Olympics are on. Winter. In a place called Lillehammer, Norway? Something like that. I love the ice skating. It's such a romantic thing to watch. I was watching tonight and a German girl fell flat on her face and stomach. She was okay, but had stitches in her chin and it put her out of the competition. They work so hard, I hate to see that happen. We have a USA girl that her husband tried to break another girl's leg so his wife, Tanya Harding, could win the gold. This all happened before the Olympics, so it was on the news constantly. She said she never had anything to do with it, but they traced calls and she was the one who tracked Nancy Kerrigan down to tell the hit guy where she'd be practicing. Anyway, it looked bad for Tanya, but she claimed she was innocent, so they let her go to the Olympics. Myself, I think she should have disqualified herself, but I guess innocent until proven guilty. I went to my doctor appointment today. I am low in my blood count and lack of vitamin B12, so I get shots every 4 weeks and start on calcium. I stopped by the store and then went to my mom's. I gave my Uncle Bill a haircut and a shave, then came home. Our old faithful dog was waiting for me, as she always is. It's always so quiet when I come home in the house, so she is someone I can talk to and not feel like I'm by myself. Alec has our backyard looking so nice. The garden is all ready for planting, and he planted some citrus trees by the apples and peaches. It's warming up, and this is the weather we all look forward to. February 16th. I went to art class today. We did a still life. I don't draw too good, so it's hard for me to paint something I draw. But we had fun in class. We have one girl in class, a young, about 30-year-old gal, and her first time in watercolor. She is a real natural. She draws exceptionally well, and her first watercolor was beautiful. We also had an afternoon art class out here at Granite Reef Dam. I knew one of the gals from one of my morning classes. They had a lot of fun painting the Red Mountain. This afternoon, I took my mom back to Dr. Bourne to find out more about her dialysis. They still hope they can put her off for 6 months to a year. I sure hope they do. Alec and I went to a yard sale by my mom's and wound up buying the mobile home and land. It's just one over from mom's. It closed on the 25th. And that is where Jeanette lives now, is in this trailer that they bought while going to a yard sale. So, February 18th, 1994. We took Mom to the hospital for an operation. She had a shunt put in her arm for dialysis. It takes about 6 weeks to heal. It's easier for the dialysis to work if she has one. The way the doctor talked, we didn't think it would be too bad. It swelled and pained her all night. I stayed with her all night and all morning. She was a little wobbly getting up and going to the bathroom. She has to keep her arm elevated for 2 weeks to keep the swelling down. But she is doing pretty good now. Her brother Bill is living with her, so he is there in case she needs help. But Mom is not one to let people help her for very long. Thursday the 24th. Our mobile home was finalized and we already have a renter. We had the carpets cleaned and the sink in the kitchen replaced. The lady has her own furniture. The lady wants to stay all year long. She has a small little dog. We think it'll be a good rent house and will make us a little money, especially after we retire. Friday the 25th. I made Alec stuffed bell peppers for lunch. I made enough extra to take to my mom and Uncle Bill. I went to their place on the way to town and left off a dish. They were at the doctor. Mom got a shot. I went to town to a place called Applebee's Restaurant and met my daughter, Lori Wayne Fricky, and a young girl named Gloria Robbins. She was a Sherman. She was a girl in my seminary class in Elfrida. I also had her in my mutual class at church. She was a real darling gal and was dating a young man who lived at our house, Evan Robbins. We also had his brother Bart Robbins for a couple of years. They are living in Show Low, and he is a policeman, and they have 3 adorable kids. She is a great mom. It was nice to see her again, and I always enjoy being with either of my daughters. On the way home, I stopped at Mom's because I saw her dishes were piled up from the last few days. I know she doesn't feel like doing them, and her brother is a typical man. So I did the dishes and cleaned the kitchen up, changed Mom's bandages, and came home to run a load of wash. Put away the clean ones and clean the kitchen, but too tired to do any more, so I sat down and watched the Olympics and hoping Nancy Kerrigan gets the gold. She just got edged out, but she did a beautiful skate. Only one little wobble. Wouldn't have known if they hadn't told us. Saturday the 26th. I just went to Sally's fabric shop and picked up my sewing machine. I've had it for at least 20 to 25 years. It's a Viking, and it has been a good one. In fact, when I pick it up, she said it was good for another 25,000 miles. I picked up some lace and came by Mom's. She's doing a lot better. I went over to the mobile home we bought, and they did a real nice job on the carpets. Our renter, I think, backed out. She thinks she's allergic to the carpet. Oh well. It was so nice out. I washed the car and played with the dog. I came in, tried my machine out. It sews great. Finished a lampshade and then watched the Olympics. Sunday the 27th. Alec worked, but before he left, he and the dog Stanley went for a walk, and he went down and got the newspaper, and then he drove over to the mobile home we bought and checked out a few things. He went to work and I went to church. After primary, I went into sacrament meeting and I read the bulletin, then looked up at the stand and saw my grandson, Justin. He was giving a talk, and my other grandson was blessing the sacrament. What a beautiful sight to know your kids are where they are supposed to be. I left church and went to my mom's to meet my brother, Paul John Faraday. When I got there, Mom wasn't feeling too good, but she started parking. Let's see. Whoa. Oh, sorry. She started perking up, not parking. I'm like, where's she parking? Sorry. When I got there, Mom wasn't feeling too good, but she started perking up because she had taken a pill to help with her dizziness. She finally got up and walked down to the mobile home. John and Mary wanted to see it. We walked back, and Mom's neighbor, for some reason, asked me in to see what all she had done with her place. It's just a single wide, and she wants as much money as we paid for the double wide, and hers is older than ours. My brother headed for home, and so did I. I fed the animals and came in and ate and changed my clothes. I called my grandson, Justin Hargrave, and told him how proud I was of him. He gave his talk on repenting and did a real good job. All in all, it was a very nice Sunday. All right, this is Monday, February 28th, 1994, and this is where I'm going to stop for today because we are already almost at an hour, and I'm going to go in and make dinner. So we didn't get very far because this is only through February, but she did make the commitment to write every day. So I've said this in previous podcasts that I will probably have to start breaking up the years just because it is a lot. It's a lot to read. It's a lot to edit. It's a lot to do. So, we might be to the point where we're going to have to start breaking up the years. So this will be the last entry for today. So Monday, February 28th, 1994. Time just keeps flying by. The end of the day is here, and it seems I've hardly begun. Alec and I go to bed about 11:30 or 12, depending on when he gets home. So we get up around 7:30 or 8, and I am not a morning person. I like to get up and listen to the quiet, so I don't talk. I listen to birds, wind, and the outside noise. Alec, on the other hand, starts talking the minute his feet hit the floor. He turns on the radio, sings and dances, for my amusement, I'm sure, or at least to get a rumble or grumble from me. We go down and fix breakfast, then clean up the mess. By then it's 9 a.m., and we go for a walk. By the time we get back, it's almost 10 a.m., so I start fixing his lunch to take to work, and then I start making his lunch to eat at home at 11 a.m. before he goes to work. By the time he leaves and I clean up the mess, it's after 12. So by the time I start my lampshades, it's usually 1:30 or 2. Then I work on them until 6. Then I fix my supper. I usually don't eat lunch. After I clean up my mess, it's going on 7. So if I do any more lampshades or housework, it's usually between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. By 10:30, I'm tired and ready for bed, so I usually watch TV till Alec comes home at 11. Then we start all over again. I usually take about 30 minutes out to read either the Book of Mormon or the Ensign or the Reader's Digest. Once in a while, I get a good book. Our lady that wanted to rent our mobile home, I guess she backed out. She says she is allergic to something in it. We think she just lost her husband a year ago, and she is not ready to go on her own. She's with her son and wife, and I think they want her on her own, and she is not ready. She has panic attacks and anxiety, so we refunded her money, and we will get another renter. All right, so that is where we will stop for today. And we will jump into March next time, which we know March is always full of birthdays and fun things. So we'll jump into that next time. So in the meantime, everybody have a fantastic week. Continue to pray for Uncle Joe and Uncle Jim, and reach out to them if you want to. I think all family members love to hear from other family members. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But definitely keep them in your prayers. But have a great week, and we'll see you next time.